Chapter 921. Crush at Wedding Gifts. It was silent in the drill ground. The huge sacred magic weapon pavilion was quietly suspended in the void. Aura from the magic weapons within emanated from it. The horrible number, 138,000, echoed in everyone's mind. The experts in the stand had a wealth of experience and soon recovered from their shock. After coming back to themselves, those in the stand were in a frenzy. How is it even possible? Oh God! 138,000 magic weapons. If I didn't see it with my own eyes, I would never believe it. It's incredible that someone can collect such a vast number of magic weapons for a wedding gift. Ha ha, 138,000 Emperor weapons. I really doubt that he brought all the Emperor weapons in the eternal world here. It's too incredible. There were gasps of horror. As experienced as the experts were, they had never witnessed such a shocking scene. Even Emperor Lang found it hard to restrain his shock. How is it possible? So many Emperor weapons. If Tang of the East spared no effort, we probably won't be able to obtain 1 or 2/10 of these weapons. How did he achieve this? Emperor Lang muttered as he speculated on a possible reason. Is it from Stellar Fog Sea? The Stellar Fog Sea is so mysterious that no one has emerged from it alive for a long time. No one knows what is inside. Jian Wushuang managed to survive the Stellar Fog Sea. It is probable that he gained a great opportunity there and obtained an incredible number of Emperor weapons. As for that body Dan, it is probably from the Stellar Fog Sea too. Yes, definitely from Stellar Fog Sea. Emperor Lang confirmed his guess inwardly. Jian Wushuang had indeed gained a great opportunity in the Stellar Fog Sea. The body fruit to refine the body Dan was from Stellar Fog Sea. But the magic weapon pavilion had nothing to do with Stellar Fog Sea. This magic weapon pavilion had been given by his mysterious master Xianxia. And the 138,000 Emperor weapons were also from Xianxia. This was a big gift from his master. Seated at the long table, Xianxia smiled slightly and looked around. You guys, what do you think of the third wedding gift prepared by my junior brother? Incredible. The master from Dongyang clan said, 138,000 Emperor weapons. Even if Dongyang clan sells all it owns, it cannot compare to 1% of this magic weapon pavilion. Master Bloodsaber, how did your junior brother get all these Emperor weapons? All eyes turned to Xianxia. They were curious about how Jian Wushuang had managed to obtain such a huge number of Emperor weapons. Was this opportunity in defiance of the natural order? Don't bother with how my junior brother got these Emperor weapons. I just want to know how this gift compares with that offered by Xia Mang from Xia clan. Xianxia asked with a slight smile on his face. The experts in the stand were in a daze for a second and exchanged glances. They were too embarrassed to respond in Xia Yu's presence, but the answer was obvious. Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang had each prepared 3 wedding gifts. Xia Mang's gifts were indeed extremely precious, especially the third Magic Cloud Valley relic which had surpassed all others in the convention. However, compared to Jian Wushuang's gifts, Xia Mang's gifts were inferior. The disparity was immense. For the first wedding gift, Xia Mang had offered youth-retaining elixir. Jian Wushuang had provided crepe myrtle elixir. Youth-retaining elixir and crepe myrtle elixir were of equal rarity and value. Youth-retaining elixir stopped aging for female cultivators. This was an attractive feature, but it had no truly useful functions. On the other hand, crepe myrtle elixir could inhibit the toxin in Lang Rushuang's body. Besides, Jian Wushuang had overcome great obstacles and retrieved it at great risk to himself. This love alone was something that Xia Mang could not compare with. The disparity between the second wedding gifts was more obvious. The 2 Blood Emperor puppets given by Xia Mang owned Dao Master level strength, but they were merely puppet fighters. Body Dan offered by Jian Wushuang could produce human Dao Master experts. There were also 5 Body Dan, and therefore potentially 5 human Dao Masters. And as for the third wedding gift, Xia Mang had provided 4 tokens that granted access to the Magic Cloud Valley relics. To obtain the treasures from Magic Cloud Valley, effort, cost, and time would need to be spent by the bearer of the tokens. Furthermore, only 50 or 60% of treasures may be retrieved. The magic weapon pavilion offered by Jian Wushuang required no further cost or effort by the recipient of the gift. Most importantly, while the Magic Cloud Valley relics held a large number of treasure opportunities, their combined value did not even come close to the value of the Magic Weapon Pavilion, a total of 138,000 Emperor weapons. This number was really incredible. It was estimated that there was nothing in the entire Eternal World which could match the value of these magic weapons. Naturally, the Magic Cloud Valley relics paled in comparison to them. So the 3 wedding gifts from Jian Wushuang and Xia Mang were compared. None of the wedding gifts from Xia Mang were comparable to those presented by Jian Wushuang. In the stand, Xia Yu's face flushed. He, Xia Clan, had spent millions of years searching for the Magic Cloud Valley relics. He had intended for the gift to shock the selection ceremony. He had not expected that Jian Wushuang's wedding gifts that would be much more precious than the Magic Cloud Valley relics. This was completely beyond his and everyone's expectations. A small boy from a remote domain and an ordinary sect had presented wedding gifts that far surpassed their Xia's. If news of this spread, their first overlord clan, Xia Clan in the Tang of the East, would inevitably become a laughingstock. So what if he has better wedding gifts than Xia Clan? The selection ceremony doesn't just look at wedding gifts. It considers talents and strengths too. We'll see who has the last laugh. Xia Yu snorted coldly. Chapter 922, A Competition of Strength. The experts in the stand nodded at Xia Yu's words. Indeed, wedding gifts was only one aspect of the selection ceremony. Strength mattered too. Moreover, the wedding gifts was only an external factor, and did not speak for the ability of a person. Someone who was lucky and had no abilities could still obtain treasures that others couldn't reach. Many people felt that Jian Wushuang had probably lucky to get Body Dan and Magic Weapon Pavilion. In the drill ground, Xia Mang had recovered from his shock. A grimace remained on his face. As he glanced at Jian Wushuang, coldness emerged in his eyes. Jian Wushuang, I have no idea how you got the Magic Weapon Pavilion. The strength and talent competition is next. This totally depends on personal strength. I shall see how you can compete with me. Xia Mang had utmost confidence in his strength. He was recognized as the first genius in the Eternal World. He was fully deserving of the title of First Eternal Realm Expert in the Eternal World. Over the years, many strong Eternal Realm experts had challenged him but lost. Without a doubt, the strength competition was totally different from the wedding gifts competition. From his seat in the middle of the stand, Emperor Lang looked down. The strength and talent competition is next. As for the competition rules. Before Emperor Lang had finished his sentence, Dongyang Chong from Dongyang Clan in the drill ground took the lead. He stood outside and said respectfully, Emperor Lang, the strength competition need not be so troublesome. Oh. Emperor Lang glanced at Dongyang Chong. Dongyang Chong continued gravely, as we all know, Xia Mang is well known as the first Eternal Realm, expert in the Eternal World, and also the first genius. In terms of strength, he should be the strongest. Since this selection ceremony aims to select the strongest person, there is no need to waste time. If any one of us has doubts about Xia Mang's strength, just challenge him. Anyone who defeats him wins the competition. I know very well that I can't beat Xia Mang, so for this round of competition, I will just give up. Many people around Dongyang Chong shared his sentiments. Unlike the first round competition on wedding gifts, no suspense existed for the second round competition on strength. It was widely recognized that Xia Mang was the first Eternal Realm expert in the Eternal World. Even other geniuses with extraordinary strength not on the same level as him. What do you think, Xia Mang? Emperor Lang said as he looked down. I don't mind. Xia Mang laughed. How about you? Emperor Lang looked at Jian Wushuang, Ku Yi, and others. They nodded their assent. So that's it. If any one of you has any doubts about Xia Mang's strength, just challenge him. If not, we'll take it that you have given up. Emperor Lang said. As Emperor Lang finished his words, all the geniuses, apart from Jian Wushuang, looked in Xia Mang's direction. Like Dongyang Chong, more than half of them had no intention of challenging Xia Mang. The rest of them were hesitant. Finally, a long-haired man with a saber stepped out. This long-haired man was the personal disciple of Deep-Sea Palace Master, Li Qianqiu. Li Qianqiu appeared in front of Xianxia with a cold and indifferent face and shocking killing intent. I have long heard that Master Mubai of Xia clan is the first eternal realm in the eternal world. It is a pity that we had no chance to meet previously. Since we have that opportunity today, we should have a good fight. Besides, since I set foot on the 6 steps of Eternal Realm thousands of years ago, I have encountered many Eternal Realm top experts but never lost a fight. Let's see if I'm defeated today. Li Qianqiu said coldly. As you wish. Xianxia said with a slight smile. There was absolute confidence in his words and behavior. Just go ahead. Humph. Li Qianqiu was very decisive. With a cold snort, he started to attack. With a rapid wraith-like move, he leapt forward. The void before Xianxia was suddenly broken and a strong wind swept over. When Li Qianqiu's body appeared, the saber he had carried behind him appeared in his hand. Aggression emanated from him. Swish! A black saber shadow pierced forward. Xianxia had been standing quietly looking at Li Qianqiu's slash. When the ghost-like saber shadow approached him, a faint smile showed on his lips. He slapped his hand in front of him. This slap was as light as cloud and wind. However, its impact had a horrible, earth-crushing power which forced Li Qianqiu to retreat. What? Li Qianqiu was shocked. He had not expected his slash to be so easily blocked by Xianxia. He stepped back, trembling. No wonder he is the first eternal realm in the eternal world. He is truly strong. In that case, Li Qianqiu unleashed his full strength. A vast black fog surged violently upwards from his body and expanded to the surroundings. In a very short time, it had developed into a huge black ocean. It covered most of drill ground and obscured Li Qianqiu's figure. At the sight of this scene, the experts on the stand sighed. They turned and looked at a black-robed bearded old man who wore a cold expression on his face. This was Li Qianqiu's master, the Deep-Sea Palace Master. Deep-Sea Palace Master, this disciple of yours is quite good. At such a young age, he has cultivated your unique secret skill to such a high level. It seems that he has fully mastered Chapter 1 of Spiritual Sea Realm and carved out his own Tao. He is not far from being a Tao Master. Deep Sea, congratulations on having such a good disciple. Unmoved by the praise showered on him, Deep-Sea Palace Master responded with a cold snort. My disciple's strength is good, but compared with Xianxia, he has a long way to go. I think that slap from Xianxia has shown part of his own Tao. And in my opinion, that should be creation-level Tao, but it was not perfect. Chapter 923, Life or Death. Creation-level Tao. The experts present expressed their admiration, but they were not surprised. They had recognized it too. An eternal realm who wanted to be a Tao master had to develop his own Tao. And the Tao that was cultivated had various levels. In the eternal world, the Tao that was cultivated had 3 levels: general level, universe level, and creation level. A higher the Tao level would result in greater strength after breaking through Tao master. Like Body Dan, it helped our eternal realm to cultivate his own Tao in a very short time. The basic Tao cultivated was general level. The creation level Tao was more than 10 times stronger than general level Tao. Xianxia had cultivated creation level Tao, but it was not perfect. No wonder he is the first genius in the eternal world. He had the courage to develop creation level Tao as an eternal realm. How bold and resolute! If he had cultivated general level or universe level Tao, he would have taken a long time to become a Tao master. What an exceptional genius! Many experts sang his praises. Xia Yu from Xia clan was filled with pride as he heard the others' acclamations. In the drill ground, Li Qianqiu changed into a huge deep sea within which many figures appeared. The figures struck Xianxia with killing moves. These included the cold and domineering saber technique and a huge black mountain striking towards Xianxia. Xianxia stood in the middle of Black Sea and dealt with the attacks calmly and effortlessly. That's it. Xianxia's lips curled and pressed his hand outwards. The force from this move rushed toward the huge black sea in front of him and cracked the void before him. This horrible power continued to pass to the Black Sea. The impact set off huge waves in the Black Sea. At the same time, the Black Sea began to shrink at an alarming rate. After a moment, the Black Sea gathered together and the figure of Li Qianqiu appeared. Li Qianqiu's face was pale. A trace of blood hung in the corner of his mouth and his aura was weak. No wonder you are the first eternal realm in the eternal world, Xia Mang. I thought we would have a close fight, even if I could not defeat you with my ability. It never occurred to me that I can't even make you show your full strength. Now I am utterly convinced that I have lost this fight. Li Qianqiu said with a low voice. You did well. Xia Mang made a small obeisance. People in the drill ground were all inwardly amazed at the result of the fight and Li Qianqiu's words. Li Qianqiu is very powerful, but he still lost the fight. Xia Mang didn't even use all his strength. The result should be acceptable to Li Qianqiu. After all, his opponent is Xia Mang. Xia Mang is so strong that no one in the Eternal Realms can defeat him. Chatter broke out among the audience along the perimeter of the drill ground. Li Qianqiu withdrew. Having witnessed Xia Mang's prowess, the geniuses who had been hesitant about challenging Xia Mang looked at each other and smiled bitterly. They were now certain that they had no way of challenging him. They would be easily defeated by Xia Mang, so there was no point in embarrassing themselves by challenging him. Xia Mang's grin widened and was filled with menace as he glared at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Xia Mang's resounding voice reverberated through the drill ground. 200 years ago, outside the Circis Island, you killed my brother Xia Yang. Today, at this selection ceremony, would you dare to have a fight with his brother? Life or death? Xia Mang's voice had become extremely cold at the last few words. The drill ground was in uproar. Challenge was from Xia Mang to Jian Wushuang, instead of Jian Wushuang challenging Xia Mang. Ha ha, it's getting more interesting. Does Jian Wushuang dare accept the challenge? Accept the challenge? He is stupid if he accepts. This is a strength competition. It's not like the first round of wedding gifts competition. Besides, Xia Mang has declared a life or death duel. Even if Xia Mang kills Jian Wushuang in the fight, he will receive no punishment. How cruel Xia Mang is. Voices filled with horror echoed through the drill ground. The audience waited in anticipation. They wanted to know if Jian Wushuang, who had violently opposed Xia Mang from the very beginning, won the first wedding gifts competition and crushed Xia Mang thoroughly, dared to accept Xia Mang's challenge, a life or death duel. The top experts in the stand wore interested expressions. Elder Xia Yu, this selection ceremony is held by Emperor Lang. I'm afraid it's not good to have a killing happen here. A master from a big clan beside Xia Yu exclaimed. Jian Wushuang killed second master of Xia clan. How can this be so simple? I have said that no one can protect him today. As for selection ceremony, we, Xia clan, of course, won't go against Emperor Lang. If Jian Wushuang has no courage, he can just refuse the challenge. Xia clan will find another chance after the selection ceremony to kill him. Xia Yu added coldly. Shuelingtian, who was quietly sitting opposite Xia Yu, smiled slightly when he heard Xia Yu's words. Challenge my little junior brother? And a life or death duel? Ha, Xia Mang is really good at digging his own grave. Shuelingtian laughed coldly and said nothing. Idiot, Xia Mang is really an idiot. In the same stand, Wang Yuan, who was sitting beside Alchemy Master, laughed out with no mercy. Others say he is the first eternal realm in the eternal world and he really believes it. He has just never met our third brother. This Xia Mang is looking for his own death. Yang Zixuan nodded as he stood beside him with his arms crossed over his chest. With all eyes on him, Jian Wushuang stepped forward. He lifted his sharp eyes and stared at Xia Mang. He spoke with an icy voice. Its effect was akin to that of a furious thunder blast. You want to fight? So be it. Between you and me, it's life or death. Chapter 924. Jian Wushuang against Xia Mang. Jian Wushuang's towering size burned with wrath following his thunderous roar. He joined the fight. He joined the fight. This is a battle of certain doom. How is it possible that he agrees to join the fight? What courage! Is that folly, or does he indeed wield strength enough to defeat his opponent? Cries and yelling drowned over the incessant chatters rising from the spectators' stand of the arena. Seeing that Jian Wushuang appeared to accept his challenge, Xianxia smiled maliciously. He flicked his wrist. A blood-red glove appeared out of nowhere, worn over his hand. The glove exuded an aura of intense bloodthirstiness and malice, a clear sign that it was a strong and potent emperor weapon. This appearance of the glove itself roused the fear of everyone present. Many of the spectators present noted that Xianxia had not used his glove when he defeated Li Qianzhou. It seems that Xianxia is thirsty for blood. The spectators braced themselves for a gruesome and terrible fight. Some of them even began to fear for Jian Wushuang. Xianxia was the greatest warrior of the Eternal Realm in the lands of the Eternal World. Even the invincible Li Qianzhou was defeated by him without any apparent effort. It was widely believed that no other warrior of the same realm would be equal to Xianxia. Xianxia clenched tightly his gloved fists, and instantly, the fabric of space of the air around it began to crack and tear. With a stare filled with hate and malice, Xianxia looked at Jian Wushuang. "I will let you realize, Jian Wushuang, the differences between you and me. Let the fight begin." Jian Wushuang's voice rumbled as he replied coldly, his arms crossed at his front. Xianxia giggled wickedly and disappeared into thin air even before his laughter ended, appearing behind Jian Wushuang in the blink of an eye. Such a speed! The audience all gasped with amazement. Such a speed indeed! Even Li Qianzhou himself could hardly hide his bewilderment. Xianxia had not displayed the full extent of his quickness in his battle against Li Qianzhou. What he had now shown was the agility and pace which none of the Eternal Realm could rival. Whoosh! A huge wave of air swept across the arena into the spectators' stands. Xianxia appeared before Jian Wushuang, his cold and deathly eyes gleaming hungrily. Without allowing his opponent any chance to react, he struck at where Jian Wushuang stood immediately with his gloved fist. The earth-shattering stroke! Xianxia bellowed loudly. His fist slammed forth with terrifying destructiveness that even the air trembled. The fabric of space crumbled before the tremendous force of his stroke. The aura of his blow passed through the distortion caused to the rupture in the continuum of space, growing rapidly into the size of a huge mountain, a blood-red mountain of death. The huge blood-red mound sped directly at Jian Wushuang, threatening to slam into him with a force sufficient to decimate all lives. The overwhelming power of the aura from Xianxia's stroke tore through the air, ripping the surrounding space into shreds as it began to crackle and snap. The spectators at the stands all beheld the spectacle fearfully with their breaths held, watching blankly at what was to come. To them of the common masses, this should not even be possible with one of the Eternal Realm. Does Xianxia intend to kill Jian Wushuang in one stroke? One stroke! It may be possible with so powerful and terrible a stroke. The crowd now began to mutter and whisper anxiously. But Jian Wushuang was still looking calm and collected, clearly unfazed by the tide of death rolling towards him. He could feel the pressure crashing into him face first from the lumbering aura in the form of a blood-red mound rushing towards him. It was a strength almost impossible and yet immensely powerful for one of the Eternal Realm. But this was hardly anything in the eyes of Jian Wushuang. With everyone staring at him, Jian Wushuang moved. He lowered himself into a horse stance and channeled all the might he could muster into his right fist. This startled everyone who was watching him. He's not drawing his sword. He carries a long sword. He should most likely be a cultivator of swordsmanship. But why is he not drawing his sword to defend himself? What is he doing? Is he thinking of fighting against Xianxia with only his fists? Is he mad? Or is he giving up, knowing that his end is inevitable? Clearly Xianxia has given his all by using his magical weapon. He even used his most powerful secret technique. And yet, Jian Wushuang chose to fight against him barehanded? This is courting death. He is mad. The bystanders around Jian Wushuang all believed that he was either driven mad or he had committed a serious blunder. But in truth, Jian Wushuang was as tranquil as a still lake. A mere warrior of the Eternal Realm does not require me to draw my sword. Jian Wushuang screamed within himself with rage. He clenched his fist tightly, concentrating his powers, and readied himself to retaliate. In his fist, Jian Wushuang had accumulated the huge and terrifying powers produced by his methods of inverse cultivation that allowed him greater power than that of his current level, which were increased by 72-fold with the use of the 24th level of the Star River secret skill. The methods of inverse cultivation alone had bestowed upon Jian Wushuang strength and power far beyond that of the Eternal Realm. Yet, he had also used the Star River secret skill to further enhance its yield by 72-fold. 72-fold. The powers he wielded were truly unfathomable. I have something I have been waiting to tell you, Xianxia. Jian Wushuang wore a solemn expression as he looked at his opponent through the distorted anomaly between them. Ah! Standing behind the huge blood-red mound of auric energies, Xianxia was indeed surprised by Jian Wushuang's sudden remark. You have always been widely acclaimed as the strongest warrior of the Eternal Realm in the domain of the Eternal World. But to me, you are nothing but a mere mockery of your pitiful self. Worthless and puny. Jian Wushuang's boomed loudly across the arena. At the same time, he punched with his fists forward, unleashing the astounding force that he had held in his fist. Bang! He drove his fist forward, creating a huge spiraling corkscrew of raging winds that immediately dispelled everything in its path. With only sheer might, Jian Wushuang had shown that he required no secret techniques or any methods to defeat his foe. It was a punch that fully demonstrated his power, which was already close to that of a Dao master. With no need of drawing his sword or the use of any secret techniques, Jian Wushuang had shown to the world that he possessed the strength of a Dao master. And his single blow had fully illustrated how easily he could defeat his foe. Down you go! Jian Wushuang roared. Rumble! The gigantic blood-red mound of auric energies shook and began to crumble, disintegrating instantly once it hit Jian Wushuang's fist. But his stroke was far from ending. The auric blow from his punch, after reducing the huge blood-red mound into nothingness, shot straight at Xianxia and blasted directly into his outstretched palm, which was wearing the blood-red glove. Bang! Then a loud crack like a smashing sledgehammer reached their ears of everyone around immediately, followed by the subtle, terrifying sounds of cracking bones. How is it possible? Xianxia's eyes widened with shock and disbelief as he looked at his right hand. His hand was completely mangled. The bones of his hand to his arm have all been utterly crushed by the shock of the blast, which did not stop at that. Instead, the impact was transmitted to all parts of his body. Chapter 925. Double. Urgh! A huge mouthful of blood gushed from Xianxia's mouth, escaping like a pouring dam. Like a kite with a broken string, he staggered uncontrollably for a moment and collapsed to the ground. The greatest Eternal Realm warrior of the Eternal World. Jian Wushuang smirked faintly as he slowly withdrew his fist. But his words were hardly a lie. With the power Jian Wushuang now wielded, the title of the greatest warrior of the Eternal Realm was nothing but a paltry sideshow to him. Even Zidong, whom he had encountered during his second test at the Star Island, was much stronger than Xianxia. With the power of the divine realm I wield, I could have pummeled Zidong into heaps of filth during the third test of the Black Tower back then. Now that I have reached the Eternal Realm level, it is hardly surprising that my power has increased many folds. Jian Wushuang brooded to himself. The cacophonic dissonance of cries and screams in the arena instantly fell into a deadly silence. The tens of thousands of spectators were all dazed, their eyes wide with disbelief and their jaws dropped and speechless. Even the greatest experts who have been watching from the void were awestruck into a bewildered taciturnity. One stroke. Indeed, it was all he took. But it was not Xianxia who annihilated Jian Wushuang instead. It was Jian Wushuang who had so easily crippled Xianxia. Xianxia. Xianxia, lost. A voice broke the eerie silence across the arena. It was a voice which escaped from an unknown mouth. In the next moment, the entire arena erupted into roars and jumped to its feet. Impossible! Am I dreaming? A warrior of the Eternal Realm defeated Xianxia. And he did that with a single stroke. Is he really only at the Eternal Realm level and not a Dao master? But how was it possible that a warrior of the Eternal Realm could defeat Xianxia with only one blow? This is inconceivable. None could easily believe what they were now seeing. The notion of Xianxia being so carelessly defeated was only too unthinkable to everyone around. The uproar was very much greater, even much greater than the moment when Jian Wushuang had produced the magic weapon pavilion. After all, his opponent was none other than the greatest warrior of the Eternal Realm, the indomitable Xianxia. The crowd witnessing the unbelievable spectacle would hardly be so terrified if Jian Wushuang had defeated Xianxia in a close fight. But the fact that Xianxia was utterly incapacitated with only a single blow had sent the crowd into delirious fervors of insanity. Who else but Tao Masters could so easily defeat Xianxia with only one stroke in the vast domain of the eternal world? Step 7. High above atop the platform, the Lord of Circis Island was the first to rise to his feet. His eyes gleamed brightly as his gaze was transfixed upon Jian Wushuang. Indeed, only a prodigy of immeasurable talent who had reached the fabled Step 7 could possess the strength of a Tao Master despite being only an Eternal Realm warrior. Jian Wushuang is clearly such a prodigy. The legendary Step 7. It was said that only one had reached Step 7 many long years ago. Who would have expected that we would witness the emergence of another equally talented prodigy? This is unthinkable. An Eternal Realm warrior who possesses the power of a Tao Master. Even the greatest warriors in the domain could hardly refrain from being surprised and amazed as they surveyed Jian Wushuang. The strength and talents that Jian Wushuang had displayed had utterly exceeded their imaginations. Your junior brother is remarkable indeed, Blood Saber. I wager the Temple Master would be pleased to have one of such talents if he is here. The elder with flowing white hair said. He was the other master of the Void Temple. That may be so. This junior brother of mine commands greater talents and potential that dwarfs even mine. Xue Lingtian smiled with pride. He immediately turned towards Xie Yu, who was seated right opposite of him, and sneered. Do you have anything else to say, Xie Yu? HMPH. The battle is far from over. What are you being cheerful about? Xie Yu retorted coldly. Ah. Xue Lingtian's eyebrows twitched suspiciously. Everyone above the stands turned immediately to Xie Yu, watching him dubiously. It was clear that Jian Wushuang had reached Step 7, the level of strength that Xianxia could never hope to defeat. But why was Xie Yu not admitting being defeated when Xianxia was already in such dire state? Was he hoping that the Master Mubai of the Xie clan would die in battle here and now? In the hands of Jian Wushuang? Ha ha! As if on a cue, the answer revealed itself to the entire arena instantly. Xianxia, who was sprawled on the ground, drenched in the blood and viscera of his mangled and gnarled arm, began to scream and laugh maniacally. Jian Wushuang! Jian Wushuang! Xianxia howled continuously, like a deranged and wounded beast. His voice rang through the entire arena, filled with hate and malice. Jian Wushuang looked intently at Xianxia, his expression grim and sullen. With a face as pale as death, Xianxia's eyes flared with rage and contempt. An icy voice reverberated from his throat, echoing in a crisp and clear tone across the arena. I have not expected that you wield such power. Jian Wushuang. Surely you have reached the legendary Step 7, unless I am very much mistaken. Ha 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 ha. Great. You are powerful indeed. You are the second to have reached the fabled Step 7 in the entire history of the eternal world. Xianxia continued yelling deliriously. Jian Wushuang frowned with a foreboding dread, not knowing what else was hidden in his opponent's sleeves. Everyone in the arena could only watch in silence and doubt. Why is Xie Yu not admitting being defeated? What does he intend to do? Ha ha ha. His insane voice turned sharp and steely suddenly. Do you honestly believe that this is enough to defeat me, Jian Wushuang? Ha 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 ha. How naive. What revolting arrogance. Wait. Just wait till you see this. Xianxia continued, breaking into another fit of maniacal hysteria. No one could understand what he was trying to say. Even Jian Wushuang himself was puzzled, but he could not shake off a strange feeling of premonition. Just then, poof, a figure shot from the sky, smashing into the grounds with the suddenness, speed, and intensity of a comet falling from the sky, creating a huge crater in the middle of the dueling grounds. Slowly, the dust began to subside, revealing the identity of the figure. But everyone, including the many prominent warriors of the land who were seated upon the stands, instantly jumped with shock. The person was completely the same with Xianxia. He was a complete double, bearing the same appearance and poise. There was only one difference between them both. The newcomer wielded an aura many times greater than the Xianxia that Jian Wushuang had defeated, a superior aura that was at another complete level. You have done well, Jian Wushuang. Despite being at the Eternal Realm level, you have managed to defeat my doppelganger. The frosty voice came from the Xianxia who had just appeared. With a blink of an eye, the entire arena burst into another frenzy of panic and madness. A double. It was a doppelganger. It was merely a double that Jian Wushuang defeated. But his double could defeat Li Tianqiu with ease. His true power would surely be invincible. The gazes and stares of the spectators in the arena froze instantly upon the true Xianxia. All of them shared an uneasy shudder. For it was clear that Xianxia's aura was many times greater than that of his doppelganger. An aura which was clearly of the level of Tao Master. Chapter 926. The Battle of the Tao Masters. Tao Master. Xianxia is now a Tao Master. How long has it been since he started cultivating? Surprised, everyone on the drill ground began discussing Xianxia. The top experts in the audience wore very colorful expressions after detecting Xianxia's aura. How could he be a Tao Master? I heard that he's only been cultivating for thousands of years but has become a Tao Master in such a short time. I think he's the youngest Tao Master in the history of the Eternal World. His doppelganger had deceived us all by only revealing part of his Tao earlier. Now that he has become a Daoist, he must have opened up a complete Tao at the creation level. Even if he's new to the rank, he's probably at the top of rank 1 with a Tao at the creation level. The experts looked at Xianxia with respect. Xianxia had previously shown great potential, but to them, he had been just an insignificant youngster. However, Xianxia was now a Tao Master who had opened up a Tao at the creation level. This was enough for the experts to regard him as their equal. There were 3 ranks for a Tao Master. Xianxia had demonstrated the battle strength of someone at the top of rank 1. Elder Xianxia, you have a great expert in your clan, the expert said. He has become a Tao Master at such a young age with a Tao at the creation level. He'll go on to achieve even greater things in the future. Xianxia wore a smug look as the experts in the audience sang praises about Xianxia. The old dog. No wonder he's so confident in this battle. It turned out that it was Xianxia's doppelganger earlier, while the real thing has long become a Tao Master. Xue Lingtian clenched his hands, his face turning gloomy. Xianxia stood in the center of the drill ground. He had recalled his doppelganger, and there was powerful aura from his original body. He looked over at Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang was now reassessing Xianxia as an opponent. He would have nothing to fear if Xianxia was only in the Eternal Realm, but things were different now that the latter had become a Tao Master. After all, there was a huge difference between an Eternal Realm expert and a Tao Master. Be careful, Jian Wushuang. Xianxia has opened up a Tao at the creation level and became a top rank 1 Tao Master. Jiu King's voice rang in Jian Wushuang's mind, warning him. Maybe I shouldn't have looked down on him before. Well, no. This makes things more interesting, Jian Wushuang said, licking his lips as he felt his bloodline power surge. Boom! His bloodline power exploded and his body immediately turned golden. 2 quadrangular stars appeared on his chest. 2-star gold-armored ancient god. However, unlike before, his body did not grow too much. He was only about 2 meters high after making his transformation. It was because Jian Wushuang was able to control the size of his body after turning into the 2-star ancient god. I'd like to see how powerful you are as a Tao Master, Jian Wushuang said. Jian Wushuang, the gold-armored ancient god, looked at Xianxia with a pair of dark golden eyes. The desire to battle rose from his body. You'll find out soon, Xianxia replied. Following these words, Xianxia flew high up in the void. Then, he brought his palm, covered in a blood-colored glove, down to the spot where Jian Wushuang was standing in with force. The slam turned into a bloody mountain, skyrocketing dozens of times more powerfully than before. Jian Wushuang was no longer where he was by the time the bloody mountain descended. Boom! The bloody mountain crashed onto the ground, causing the entire drill ground to shake violently. Then, the center of the ground caved in to form a massive, hand-shaped pit. The pit was several miles wide and more than 10 feet deep. Countless gravel was sent flying. Every blade of grass in the area withered. Swoosh! Jian Wushuang appeared next to Xianxia in a strange and unpredictable manner. The scarlet sword appeared in his hand at the same time, emitting a horrible killing intent. It was his Blood Mountain sword. His sword had become all that more powerful after he entered the Eternal Realm. Jian Wushuang swiped Xianxia with his sword in a casual manner, and a scarlet thunderbolt burst forth from the tip of the sword, carrying a potent destructive aura. The scarlet thunderbolt was none other than the divine yin thunder that he had cultivated on the Star Island. Hum! The sword light smashed through the void, destroying everything in its path. Xianxia sneered and hoisted himself higher up into the void with a slight movement. The sword light swept past his feet. The sword light ended up sweeping the perimeter of the drill ground after missing its target. The countless spectators that stood on the fringe of the drill ground panicked when they saw the sword light charging at them. The general of the Royal Guards, who was in charge of maintaining order in the assembly, intervened just then. The general, a genuine Dao master, rushed toward the edge of the drill ground as quick as lightning. As he raised his right hand and made a fist, a giant demonic ape phantom appeared behind him. He threw a punch, causing an explosion in the air. Crash! The sword light collided with the fist, sending horrible waves and air currents flying in all directions. What? The general of the Royal Guards was surprised. He was stunned that his punch had merely blocked the sword light, not entirely shattering it. The horrible air currents formed a huge storm that swept over the spectators on the rear. There were more than 100,000 of them who stood close to the battlefield, and they were all hurt by the storm that carried a small amount of sword essence. It took a moment for the storm to be settled. The scene stunned the crowd. The horrible palm attack had destroyed everything within a few miles of its force. The sword light had formed a storm and knocked down more than 100,000 people, and after the general of the Royal Guards intercepted it, to boot. What kind of absurd strength was this? It is a battle between Dao masters. A sudden uproar swept everyone on the drill ground. Chapter 927. You're still a joke as a Dao master. The experts in the audience did not expect this battle to evolve into such a situation. The original contest between the two groups in the Eternal Realm had now turned into a battle between Dao masters. Emperor Lang, who sat in the heart of the audience, threw a lavender luminous pearl into the air. The pearl cracked and subsequently formed an enormous layer of restriction that enveloped a large area of the drill ground. Only Jian Wushuang and Xianxia were enveloped in the restriction area. Now you can fight as hard as you can, Emperor Lang said. Jian Wushuang heaved a sigh of relief. He did not want that to hurt the audience again. With Emperor Lang's layer of restriction, he could use his skills without having to worry about the audience. Jian Wushuang, Xianxia called out in his cold voice. Jian Wushuang looked over at him and their eyes met. In the next second, they both disappeared. Bang! No one in the audience saw where Jian Wushuang or Xianxia had gone. Following the loud roar, they saw a huge sword scar in the center of the drill ground. It was almost 10 meters wide. Before the audience could react, another explosion went off in the void and formed a huge black hole. The residual power was swept around like a tornado. Everything happened too swiftly. Jian Wushuang and Xianxia moved so quickly that the audience in the drill ground could not see what was happening. They could only hear the violent explosions in the void and see the cracks on the ground. Only the experts in the audience got a clear look at the battle, and what they saw amazed them. They saw Xianxia sending palm strokes flying in the void without an end, creating a formidable force. Sometimes, it resembled the eruption of a volcano, and other times, like the surge of the magnificent sea or the descent of a meteorite that threatened to destroy the world. Xianxia unleashed his creation-level Dao at its full strength. This was the real battle strength of a top-rank 1 Dao master. However, Xianxia's strength surprisingly did not seem to work on Jian Wushuang. In fact, Xianxia had no advantage at all. The top experts in the audience could see that Jian Wushuang was executing his swordsmanship at full strength, too. Each of his movement was unprecedentedly fast. Moreover, his sword contained the destruction aura of the Scarlet Thunderbolt, which boosted the power and speed of his swordsmanship. Jian Wushuang had such amazing swordsmanship. Besides, he was now a gold-armored ancient god who possessed the Star River secret skill and the level 2 divine Yin Thunder. This placed Jian Wushuang in a better situation than Xianxia. Bang! There was another loud thump. Then a giant portal appeared above the battlefield. This was a black hole formed by the collision of their power. Jian Wushuang and Xianxia separated again. Xianxia roared as he glared at Jian Wushuang. Then, his body was soon enveloped in a layer of bloody mist. The bloody mist gathered and condensed behind him, soon forming 5 giant beasts. These 5 beasts were strange and fierce. Not only were they tall, but their arms were thick and strong as well. Xianxia's eyes had also turned scarlet. That's 5-fingered palm. He has such a secret skill. The top experts in the stand were surprised to see the fierce beasts behind Xianxia. The 5-fingered palm was a creation of a very powerful top-down master of the eternal world, on par with Emperor Leng and Emperor Xiao, a long time ago. It was a secret skill that was ranked in the top 3 of all palm skills. The power of this secret skill could not be underestimated. When Jian Wushuang saw the 5 fierce beasts, he knew that Xianxia was about to perform his unique skill. He focused his energy on his interspatial ring, sending streaks of flowing lights shooting out of it. The flowing lights were sword shadows. Sword formation, condense. Jian Wushuang used his intention to command the numerous sword shadows to combine at an astonishing speed. Soon, they formed a lavender sword that was 6 meters long. This sword was also formed out of 36 magic weapons. It was the first step to lay down the 9th heaven sword formation. Though Jian Wushuang had been displaying the first step of the 9th heaven sword formation earlier, the swords of the formation were different. The swords he had previously used in the formation were called Shueqian Luo, while the ones he was using now were the 1-meter swords. Each of them was worth 1 billion divine crystals. There were now 36 of these 1-meter sword, one of which was already much more powerful than an ordinary emperor weapon. Its wielder was none other than Jian Wushuang, who was in the eternal realm. Go! The lavender sword turned into a purple flowing light, carrying the divine Yin Thunder that rushed out so quickly that it seemed like they had never been in the void. Xianxia snorted coldly. Behind him, the 5 fierce beasts bellowed. 5-fingered palm. Cloud-covering hand. The killing intent surged in Xianxia's eyes. He made a heavy slam with his right hand. His palm cut through the void without making any sound, and the next moment, a giant palm print emerged from thin air. Then, as if the palm stroke had broken many layers of the space, there was one black hole after another in the void. They all aimed straight for Jian Wushuang. Just then, numerous lavender flowing lights fell down like meteorites and crushed the center of this giant palm. Kaboom! A loud crashing noise reverberated in the air, and a large amount of power began to disperse into the surroundings. The center of the giant palm broke open, leading to its collapse. The lavender flowing lights also rebounded from the crash and flew out toward the rear. Is this all you've got, Xianxia? Jian Wushuang asked coldly. Hm. Xianxia looked up at him. I'll repeat what I've previously said if this is the extent of your strength. Jian Wushuang's words reverberated through the entire drill ground. You were a joke to me back when you were in the eternal realm. Even now as a Dao master, you're still a joke. Second sword formation, condense. Chapter 928, Number 1 of the Eternal World. Buzz. More sword shadows flew out. An additional 36 1-meter swords joined the existing 36 swords. 72 of them formed a new lavender lightsaber in the void. This was the second sword formation of 9th heaven sword formation. Kill. Jian Wushuang's eyes glinted with killing intent as the lavender lightsaber pierced the void. Xianxia stood in the void with 5 huge fierce beasts standing behind him. He readied himself to make another killing move, but before he could do so, a lavender flowing light cut through the void without hindrance and directly pierced him. It was so fast. The flowing light was too fast. The second sword formation was much faster and more powerful than the first. Xianxia had merely survived the first sword formation. However, the second sword formation was rumored to travel 10,000 miles in a second. This might be exaggerated, but it demonstrated how terrifyingly fast the second sword formation was. Xianxia had no time to resist such a high-speed attack. Snap! The jade that Xianxia had been always wearing shattered and produced a transparent halo that enveloped him entirely. The lavender flowing light hit the halo with great force, piercing it. The resulting strong wind sent a violent shock through Xianxia's body, and he was pushed backward by several steps. Though Xianxia was in a very pathetic state, he nevertheless survived the flowing light. Xianxia's face was as pale as a ghost. When he managed to regain his footing, he quickly retreated far into the void. Silence fell over the drill ground. Everyone was horrified to see what was happening. Xianxia lost. He's really defeated this time. He almost got himself killed. Everyone outside of the restriction layer began fervently discussing the battle. Everyone could see that Xianxia would not have survived Jian Wushuang's attack had the jade not cast such a strong barrier. I almost died? Xianxia was similarly stunned and frightened. He had experienced several crises since he began cultivating, but never had he come so close to death. I would have died if not for my ancestor's jade. How is this even possible? He did not know that Jian Wushuang had a special talent. When Jian Wushuang was just a divine realm expert, he already possessed 7th level battle strength equivalent to that of an ordinary Dao master. When he entered the Eternal Realm, there was an even more unimaginable growth in his strength. A rank 1 Dao master was nothing to Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang's strength in the Everlasting Realm was one that defied the natural order. His second 9th Heaven Sword formation could easily crush a rank 1 Dao master. There was a lot of exclamations coming from the audience. Did Xianxia really lose? Xianxia is an authentic Dao master who has opened up a Dao at the creation level. His strength is also at the top of rank 1 level. To think that an Eternal Realm expert defeated and almost killed a top Dao master. Jian Wushuang is the number 1 of the Eternal World. He's also the number 1 genius. Xianxia is indeed a joke in front of him. The experts in the audience exclaimed with admiration. Everyone acknowledged Jian Wushuang's strength. Only Jian Wushuang deserved the title number 1 of the Eternal World. Xianxia's totally out of Jian Wushuang's league. Xianxia was upset to hear all the compliments for Jian Wushuang and yelled, "You bastard, how dare you use killing moves?" So what? Xianxia replied coldly, speaking in place of Jian Wushuang. Xianxia was the one who challenged my junior brother first. It was also he who suggested the fight for life. We all witnessed it. It's clear who really has the killing intent. The top experts looked over at Xianxia with a hint of mockery in their eyes. No one was a fool. It was obvious that Xianxia was the one who wanted to kill Jian Wushuang in the first place. Since it was he who challenged Jian Wushuang's life first, it would be his own fault even if Jian Wushuang had killed him during the fight. Xianxia blushed, momentarily speechless. Xianxia, having escaped to the edge of the drill ground, stared at Jian Wushuang in awe. He dared not fight Jian Wushuang anymore. After all, he only had 1 jade. With his jade broken, nothing could save him from another of Jian Wushuang's killing move. He had lost this battle. Jian Wushuang had defeated him so quickly and thoroughly in front of so many people. His confidence in his strength was completely crushed. Now, he felt only fear. Your Highness. Xianxia stood up from the audience to address Emperor Lang. This battle is over and it's obvious who the winner is. Your Highness, please announce the name of the Emperor's son-in-law. Everyone turned to Emperor Lang with complicated expressions. Jian Wushuang had prevailed in terms of wedding gifts and strength. He was the rightful winner according to the rules of the selection ceremony. He was rightfully Lang Rushuang's future husband. This ought to be the result of the contests. However, it was hard to say whether Emperor Lang would acknowledge this outcome. After all, Everyone knew that the purpose of this selection ceremony was for the marriage alliance with the Xia clan. It was something that Emperor Leng had already promised the clan. This ceremony was just a process. The plan was to have Xia Mang excel in the selection ceremony and become the emperor's son-in-law in the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. That way, Leng Rushuang would be forced to face the reality. It was beyond anyone's expectations that Jian Wushuang would come into play and even thoroughly defeat Xia Mang. This outcome was not within the plans of Emperor Leng and the Xia clan. The experts in the audience were curious about the choice Emperor Leng would make. Would she announce that Jian Wushuang would be the emperor's son-in-law in accordance with the results of the 2 contests of the selection ceremony? Or would she still choose Xia Mang without fearing the ridicule of so many people? The choice was up to her. Everybody waited for her to make her decision. Chapter 929. The Result. Emperor Leng, I hope you make the right choice. Otherwise. Jian Wushuang stared at Emperor Leng as he stood on the drill ground. Mother. Leng Rushuang was also looking at Emperor Leng. I hope you can keep your promise. Your Highness, our agreement is dependent on the marriage alliance between the Xia clan and the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. The agreement between us is invalid without it. Xia Yu also stared at Emperor Leng as he secretly conveyed his message to her. Silence fell over the drill ground. Everyone waited for Emperor Leng to announce the final result. Who would be the princess's husband? Would it be Jian Wushuang or Xia Mang? All eyes were on Emperor Leng, who was frowning as she sat on the throne at the center of the audience. Her expression was grave. To think that Jian Wushuang would be that skillful. Xia Mang is such a good-for-nothing to be defeated by an eternal realm expert. What a headache. She hesitated. Yet, she promptly made her decision. Whoosh. Emperor Leng stood up and cast the audience a cold look. Only one person will be the emperor's son-in-law of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land. That is. Emperor Leng pointed to a direction. Xia Mang of the Xia clan, she said. Her voice echoed all over the drill ground. Everyone, including those on the drill ground and those seated in the audience, heard her. Everyone was surprised at this result. How can it be Xia Mang? What a joke. Does she think we're all blind? Jian Wushuang defeated Xia Mang in the 2 contests of the selection ceremony. Jian Wushuang is the winner and he should be the princess's husband. How could it be Xia Mang? Humph, Emperor Leng is so shameless. If she has decided that Xia Mang would be the princess's husband, why bother holding this selection ceremony? She's deceiving herself. Voices that carried anger and indignation came from all directions. There were tens of millions of audiences around the drill ground and everyone was a clear witness. They knew that Jian Wushuang was the rightful winner of this selection ceremony and could not believe that Xia Mang would be the emperor's son-in-law. The audiences could not calm down as they felt such indignance for Jian Wushuang. They could not be convinced. Many experts on the stand sighed with emotion. To think that Emperor Leng would dare to do this. She'd even sacrifice her reputation and that of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land for this marriage alliance. What's the benefit of her doing this? Is it so important to form the marriage alliance with the Xia clan? The experts were all confused. Some experts even frowned with dissatisfaction. So Emperor Leng has long decided that Xia Mang would be the princess's husband. Had I known this in advance, we wouldn't have gotten involved, Deep Sea Palace Master said angrily. Elder Deadwood also snorted. I heard that Emperor Leng would do anything to achieve her goal. I see that it's true. Both of them came from places beyond the territory of the Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land and possessed extremely powerful strength. Therefore they dared to speak up without fearing Emperor Leng's subsequent retaliation. Some other experts were also dissatisfied with Emperor Leng's decision but endured it after considering her title and strength. Of course, there was another one who dared to speak out. That person was Xue Lingtian. Emperor Leng, do you know what you're doing now? Xue Lingtian asked with a sullen face. There was anger in his eyes. I surely know what I'm doing now. It's not your concern. The result of the selection ceremony is up to me and I'm entitled to choose the right person to be my daughter's husband. What does this have to do with you? Emperor Leng's voice was cold. Emperor Leng. Xue Lingtian became even angrier but had to hold his temper. After all, he had to respect Emperor Leng's strength and title. Mother, you've broken your promise, Lang Rushuang said in a faint voice. She stood up from her seat and looked at Emperor Leng. Keep quiet. You're not speaking here. Emperor Leng turned around after reprimanding her daughter and said nothing more. Lang Rushuang's disappointment gradually turned into despair. Lang Rushuang had previously harbored expectations about her mother. However, everything had now shattered. The way she looked at Emperor Lang changed. It became colder and more distant. The drill ground turned tumultuous. Shock and terror seized the crowd. Xia Mang looked at Jian Wushuang in triumph and deliberately sent the latter a secret message while laughing. Jian Wushuang, what's the use of winning the contests? So what if you have better wedding gifts and strength? In the end, I'll be the emperor's son-in-law and Lang Rushuang will finally be my woman. As for you, you're just a countryman from a remote world with a little bit of luck. Yet you wish to compete with me. How ridiculous! Who are you to compete with me? Do you see the outcome now? Ha ha! Aren't you angry and unsatisfied? But what can you do? It's useless. Emperor Leng has long decided that I'll be her son-in-law. You're just a contemptible scoundrel. Just enjoy your moment at the selection ceremony. When it's over, my clan will kill you immediately. That's your ultimate result. Ha ha. Xia Mang's voice continuously came into Jian Wushuang's ears. There was a hint of arrogance, madness, and triumph in his voice. These were the words from a winner to a loser. They were like silver needles that pierced Jian Wushuang's heart. Jian Wushuang kept his head down. Why? I've presented the best wedding gifts and talent. Why wouldn't she choose me? Jian Wushuang roared in his heart. He clasped his hands so hard that his fingers dug into his flesh and caused it to bleed. He gritted his teeth and trembled. I can't accept this outcome. I definitely can't accept this outcome. I won the selection ceremony, but Emperor Lang chose Xia Mang. Just because Xia Mang is from the Xia clan. Emperor Lang, you're so cruel. Jian Wushuang roared, sending sound waves echoing in the air. He then raised his head as horrible killing intent erupted from his body. Chapter 930. I'd love to. Rumble. Jian Wushuang's killing intent skyrocketed into the sky. The rumbustious drill ground gradually calmed down. The audience, tens of thousands of them, all turned to Jian Wushuang. They were also full of anger. Nobody could endure this unfairness. They were also curious what Jian Wushuang would do next. Jian Wushuang, do you have any doubts about my decision? Emperor Lang asked coldly. She did not regret the decision that she had made. The whole eternal world might despise her for what she had done after today, but she did not care. She cared only for success. The Kingdom Tang of the Eastern Land would reach new heights once her plan with the National Master succeeded. When that happened, no one in the entire eternal world would dare talk about her behind her back. Doubt. Jian Wushuang scoffed at Emperor Leng's question. Who dares to question your decision, Your Highness? But the protagonist of this selection ceremony, after all, is not Your Highness, but Lang Rushuang. Emperor Leng did not expect such words from Jiang Wushuang. Jian Wushuang ignored her and looked over at Lang Rushuang. Jian Wushuang. Lang Rushuang looked at him with a complicated expression. Lang Rushuang. Jian Wushuang called her name softly. Do you remember the tune you played for me in the nature residence the day we first met in the ancient world? Lang Rushuang did not answer. That tune is called the Icy Heart Melody. Jian Wushuang spoke slowly. The Icy Heart Melody is supposed to be cold, but my heart melted after hearing it. From that time on, there's a place in my heart for you. I never forgot you even after so many years have passed. In fact, I miss you more and more. Lang Rushuang, forget everything else. In the presence of so many people and so many powerful experts in the eternal world, I want to ask you. Will you marry me? There were tenderness and expectation in his eyes. He waited for Leng Rushuang's answer. The drill ground was silent as everyone awaited Leng Rushuang's answer. Would she agree? I. Leng Rushuang opened her mouth. Shuang'er, Emperor Lang said in a warning tone as she glanced at her daughter. Unfortunately for her, Leng Rushuang had lost all affection for her the moment she announced Xia Mang as the emperor's son-in-law. She ignored her mother and continued speaking. Leng Rushuang stood on the stand, her beautiful eyes landing on Jian Wushuang. There was only Jian Wushuang in her eyes at that moment. She could not help recalling how she had met him for the first time in the ancient world. That day, when Leng Rushue had caused a strong enemy to attack Jian Wushuang, she offered to help him. She was surprised at his stubbornness when he turned her down. Later, Jian Wushuang made a desperate decision to abandon his doppelganger to survive. She appreciated his decisiveness. Jian Wushuang was not strong back then. He was just nobody in the ancient world. But he impressed her. Since then, Leng Rushuang had always been curious about him. Perhaps it was fate. Jian Wushuang possessed a special cultivation method that could neutralize the icy heart poison in her body. After that, they became involved with each other. She would never forget the time when Jian Wushuang helped her transform the icy heart poison in the ancient world. It looked like an ordinary detoxification process, but it was her first time experiencing something like that. She had never been in contact with a man due to her noble status. That was the first time that a man touched her hand and even poured his spiritual power into her body. For the first time, she was in such close contact with a man. His breath and aura were carved deeply into her mind. She had always dreamed about him. Now, he was proposing to her in front of so many people. Leng Rushuang smiled. She was born indifferent and there was almost never a smile on her face. But she was smiling now, unleashing a beauty that drew all eyes to her. Finally, she opened her mouth to speak. Her simple words that carried an unprecedented determination spread around the drill ground. I'd love to. She said the 3 words. Emperor Leng's expression instantly turned cold. Xia Yu and Xia Mang became sullen. Jian Wushuang smiled with relief. He was afraid that Leng Rushuang would reject him. If that was the case, he would leave without saying anything. Yet Leng Rushuang agreed. She was willing to marry him. I have heaven and earth as my witnesses. Jian Wushuang extended his hand to make an oath. His voice was as sonorous as thunder, echoing in the sky. Leng Rushuang is my woman from today onward. She will only marry me. I, Jian Wushuang, will marry her, no matter what happens. Whoever dares to stop me, has to die. Jian Wushuang's voice, containing his killing intent and resolution, echoed throughout the place. Everyone on the drill ground could feel his determination. Swoosh! His aura skyrocketed to its peak. His sword essence surged at the same time, causing his Blood Mountain sword to shake. Everyone was stunned. Jian Wushuang then raised his sword and pointed the tip at Emperor Leng. Emperor Leng, will you stop me? Jian Wushuang asked. There was no respect in his tone. There was only coldness. This scene stunned everyone present. How dare you? You're the first person who dares talk to me like this in so many years. You deserve to die. Emperor Leng was also furious and killing intent flashed dangerously in her eyes. She flew swiftly in his direction. Oh no! Xue Lingtian was shocked. Many experts on the stand were also shocked. Emperor Leng. She was going to personally attack Jian Wushuang.